And that's one of the things I was going to say about your company, because I don't see anybody else out there doing anything like this and making it reachable and attainable. Would seem like, oh man, I've got to have all these clearances, or I need to work for all this.
Yeah.
You do this, it's going to take years. But the way that you're kind of breaking into the industry and making it known, just from your post on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
you're seeing what you're doing, it's like, man, you're getting a snapshot and seeing that, you know what, I like this. This is exciting. It's new. It's almost like you're a one-stop shop. You're hitting all the different venues where if you need the training or if you need the mentoring and so forth. And we need something like that right now. It makes it not seem as exclusive.
Absolutely, yeah. So Rene Ferrier, welcome to the CMMC Proof Pod Class. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Happy Friday to you, Derrich.
Happy Friday to you. I want to first start off by congratulating you. I know you're a newly minted CMMC Certified Assessor.
Hey, it feels good, man. It feels good.
Man, I got a certain ring to it.
It does. And then ISACA, they took their time sending the certificate. So it was like, come on. Because even though I know I passed the test, the whole thing
Right.
is seeing that.
Yeah, official.
So that's
Okay.
when it feels good. So.
And I saw you posted on LinkedIn a certificate. They're kind of fancy. I like that ISACA logo on there. It gives a lot more credibility to the CMMC program.
It does. It
Yeah.
does. I'm glad I waited, because even though I know it wasn't going to be instantly like, here you go, but I was surprised when they did do that change. And I was like, man, this looks really good, just the way they framed it with the ISACA on there. So it was worth the wait.
Yeah, that looks good. And I think it's a good place to start in terms of what was that process like after you passed the CCA exam? Was there anything you have to submit to ISACA?
Yes, I had to do the Delta.
Yeah, did you have to do the Delta training? Okay, talk us through that part.
The Delta training was basically just that, the Delta from between what was the old term that they were using with the CMMC process and the new one. I'd say it took me a couple of hours just going through it, because basically the concept was the same. The only difference was this is changed to this, and this is changed and so forth. Once I paid that fee, which was about $100, instantly you get the completion of training. Then I went ahead and submitted all pending stuff. For example, when you go through this cyber AB board, there's different check marks. I made sure all of those were completed, I can waited.
That's awesome. ECA, the top of the mountain. So before we even jump into that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in IT for about 25 years. I started way back in the days of the help desk and Novell. I was a CNA, and that at the time was our network operating system. We were primarily Novell, then we turned to a Microsoft shop.
Got it.
So while everybody's chasing the MCSE and so forth, so I did that, and my goal was to become a MCT. Way back then, if you were an MCT, you had access to all training. That's really important, because I love learning. At the time, it was like a MSDN library with a lot of software that you could download and test and so forth. So did that for a few years, basically a system administrator / NOC administrator.
Got it.
Eventually, once I saw that security was ramping up, I tried to think of the best way that I can get into that field. So that was when I started looking into overseas contracts. And at the time, a company named Vectrus was hiring for positions in Iraq, Kuwait. So I did Kuwait, not deployment, because technically I was a contractor, but you're on site working with Army.
Right.
That gave me the experience doing vulnerability analysis, system administration. And that was when I started seeing and hearing about RMF. What is this RMF thing? And I remember a guy saying, hey, this is going to be the next big thing. If you see this, it's going to pay off. So that's what I did. Joined with SAIC. I was part of a SCAVI group where we go around and doing assessments, going on site, talking to system administrators and so forth. At first, it was like drinking from a fire hydrant. When they hired us, they said, we know this is going to be new for you, but just understand the process, learn the controls, get an idea how the whole flow works from
Right.
doing the initial breakout meeting and talking to
Mhm.
the people and so forth. And after a while, that was where I got pretty comfortable and I started getting a good idea of the whole security framework of Army. So
Okay.
fast forward, I met Alex. He was the actual site manager. Alex,
Alex Omeke.
yes.
Yeah, Secure Operating Solutions. Big shout out. He introduced us.
And this was, man, 10 years ago,
Wow.
it was up 2014, 2015. But over the years, we kept in touch.
Mhm.
One day, I was looking at his LinkedIn profile and I was like, MMC, I've been hearing a little bit about this. Let me see what this is all about. And, we talked, and I'd say back in March of 2025 is when I started the journey, and I took the RP. And then I said, okay, what I have to do next? He's like, hey, the CCA is really where you want to be. So
Right.
ultimately, CCA lead, but start at the CCP. So I
Mm.
took the CCP training, and I have to say that was an eye opener because it gave me a snapshot of where the DIB was, where they were trying to go, and what the whole movement is. And
Right.
even though it
The
was
why
pretty
behind it. Yeah.
exactly, and even though RMF was pretty much already on that track, it gave me a different look of why they're doing it, like you said,
Mhm.
and that was kind of where I started understanding the process. So once I knocked out the CCP, I started with the CCA, which is how, we led to connecting, and that was through Alex, and here I am now,
The rest is history. When you started the CCA self-paced training through Aspire Cyber, it seemed like it was in no time. You were already taking your exam. You breezed through it. You was
Yeah.
a man on a mission.
I think the instruction from
Abby from Captiva, that's our approved publishing partner. Yeah.
yes, Abby and, Dr.
And then
Blanton,
Dr. Blanton, yeah, she did your CCA prep. She's awesome, very energetic, very passionate about education.
it was almost like, one of the twin powers activate. I mean, it
Yeah.
was the instructional part, and then it was the actual practical part, which
Right.
made sense.
Mhm.
So once I did that, I reached out to a couple of friends because I knew they were on the same path and they wanted to eventually get the training as well. And I started telling them about it. I don't know where they are yet with the process, but I feel that it was very enlightening and I really learned a lot from that.
I hope that you're getting value from this conversation. Real quick, I just want to let you know that Aspire Cyber is an approved training provider offering the CCP and CCA training. In addition to that, we offer the CMMC Copilot, which is our premier hands-on training program where you develop the skills needed to become a practicing CMMC consultant or assessor. Unlike traditional ATPs that just focus on helping you pass the certification exam, we want to empower you with the skills that you need to be a practicing and confident professional in the CMC ecosystem. So I invite you to visit aspirecyber.com to learn more about our offerings. And from you can schedule your free consultation to learn more. Let's get back to the interview, spreading the word, just like going back with the RMF. You got the heads up. I think
Yes,
CMMC is the same thing. It certainly is the hottest GRC cert. I'll go as far as saying the cybersecurity cert
yes,
because what's awesome about CMMC, once you get that certification, whether it's CCP, CCA, you know exactly what you can do and who you can serve.
right.
Unlike if you just get like a CISP or other more established cybersecurity certifications, great, you can have them, but okay, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah,
CMMC, you know exactly what you're going to do with it. You're going to
yes,
either as a CCP, you're going to be consulting or potentially even serving on the assessment team supporting the assessors. And as assessors, like Alex mentioned to you, that's where you want to be because you have the best of both worlds. You have options. You can
yes,
do just consulting, helping organizations get ready for their assessment, or you can be an assessor. So
yeah,
you just can't do this both for the same organization, but it gives you that flexibility.
yes. And I feel too that this is still new.
Yeah.
It's like just kind of the roots are starting to get into the ground, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go. But I'm also trying to learn as much as possible from various organizations, like what technologies are they running? How are they doing their process? My whole thing is to learn as much as possible, not feel like, hey, I've arrived and all, all
Oh,
box,
yeah.
all boxes checked, but
Yeah.
just continue growing.
Exactly. Because that's the thing with CMMC, it's a high stake assessment for these organizations. And the
Mhm.
defense contractors, they they range. As you know, I was a defense contractor as well. I worked for Lockheed. I was in Iraq, Afghanistan,
Wow.
Kuwait.
Yeah.
So they do so many different things supporting the military. So it's not a one size fits all. You can have a defense contractor that's maybe making drones. You have another one that's doing catering, another one that's doing microchips. So
Yes.
as a assessor or consultant, yeah, you have to learn their environment and you have to be prepared to either assess their environment or if you're a consultant, helping them get ready. And
Yes.
this is the type of field you have to always be willing to learn and
Yeah.
stay abreast of the latest technology. And AI is moving so fast, so
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
big deal. Indeed. So, Renee, what would you say to someone who, let's start with RMF. Let's say they know RMF inside out. They're hearing about CMMC. Do you think that transition is a smooth transition for them into the CMMC world? Is there a lot of things that overlap?
I think a lot of things overlap. The controls are still basically the same. I think the difference is just going to understanding the process
Hmm.
of CMMC as opposed to RMF.
Okay.
Understanding basically what is the flow of the information? Where is it going? Is it being transmitted? Whereas before, I feel like we were in silos when you're doing RMF. Sometimes you have various departments, you
Hmm.
have various roles. I think CMMC kind of integrates that whole process. It makes it one continuous flow. So it's not much different. I think it's just understanding the way that CMMC or the Cyber AB or ISACA wants the whole process done.
Right. Okay. What would you say to someone who's just getting started? Maybe they have an IT cybersecurity background, but they hearing about CMMC and I see Renee did it. I think I can do it too. He inspired me. What guidance would you give them?
Um, that's a good question because mine has been just a gradual journey. I had no idea this is where I was going to end up. If we were to look at the whole security realm as a pie, and let's say you divide it up into slices, even though it's compliance, I think it's understanding basically why you're doing it. What is your motivation? For example, when you start looking at the control
Mhm.
families, it's understanding each control, understanding what is the long-term objective of this control.
Right.
To me, that's kind of what compliance is when you break down CMMC process, when you look at all the various families, when you look at all the individual controls. I think it's understanding what each control does and the separate components of that control. So
Mhm.
to me, if you can understand that, then you've got it wrapped up. I mean, that is to me what it comes down to. Because, for example, let's say, you're more into penetration tests and you're curious as to how is this attacker exploiting this particular vulnerability. That's
Right.
just one example. But with compliance, it comes down to me that framework, that control, and what is the objective of that control? Is it being met? And
Right.
understanding why it's being met.
Right.
So that might be deep for some people just kind of getting in, but that's my understanding of kind of being able to break it into components.
Yeah, I like that the way you broke it down, and it really is layers where you have those layers and going deeper than okay, we just have this control in place, but understanding the why, the intent, and is it functioning as intended, and what is it protecting?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't have these controls in place just for control's sake. What is it
Right.
actually protecting? Okay, good guidance. Now, as far as the CCP training, the CCA training, what was your thought about the trainings? And then also, what was your thoughts about the exams?
I'd say the exam was fair. It was a little bit more difficult than I thought. I think my whole thing was understanding the concept. Even though I went through a lot of the practice questions, which was part of the training,
Mhm.
but I also used Pocket Prep and then I also used ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah. I definitely want to use AI.
Yes, yes, without a doubt. I mean, I had to get creative where what I did was I took a lot of the concepts and then I put it into ChatGPT and I told it to ask me intermediate to advanced questions.
Okay.
Then also give me multiple choices. And this is while driving. I'm having a conversation because
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
yeah,
Maximizing your time while you're on the road.
'cause I live in Birmingham, but I work in Huntsville. And Huntsville is just the defense sector of
Mhm.
Alabama. That's where all the contractors are.
Okay.
It's roughly a 2-hour drive, so of course I couldn't be driving and reading, so
Hope
instead
not.
right. taking the questions, putting it in chat, and then telling chat to have a dialogue with me, and then asking chat questions
Mhm.
just so I can understand the process a little bit better.
Yeah.
So with the CCP and the CCA, they all intertwines, but I think if I was to give advice to anyone who's about to take the training, I would make sure that you read through everything. And if you don't understand it, put it in AI. It doesn't matter. It could be Gemini, whatever, and tell it, hey, break it down to a level where,
Yes.
yeah, I'm a sixth grader or I'm a 10th
Right.
grader. So you truly, really understand it. The
Exactly.
reason why is because, of course, you never want to memorize the questions. But if you really understand the concept, it doesn't
Exactly.
matter how difficult that question is.
Right.
And tested you on that to make sure you did understand it. Because
Mhm.
there was even times where I kind of had to make sure I'm like, well, or is it this? But then I realized I'm like, okay, let's back up. First of all, skip this one.
Mhm.
Answer the ones you know, go back, take your time. So that was my approach.
Yeah, some good tips. Now for your CCP training, did you do self-paced or live instructor?
I did the self-pace.
Self-paced is good.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I did that only because at the time I was looking at the money. I was looking at just how much resources would I need to do this and then turn around and do the CCP as well. I mean, the CCA as well. The self-pace, it did take me a little bit longer because, life be life, and as they would
Oh,
say.
yes. No doubt. Mhm.
Then I went through a couple of, speed bumps, as they would say, but overall, I think it gave me enough time to let it marinate and for me to understand it. Because even though, like I said, it's kind of like branching off from RMF, it's doing it the CMMC way. And that was what I had to understand.
Okay.
So the CCP, I think that is really kind of like more the foundation,
Mhm.
learning all the various FARs, DFARs, and so forth. The CCA was a little bit easier for me because I was able to draw from my assessment experience.
Oh,
Even though
yeah.
it was RMF, a lot of the flow was the same, where, you have your hot washes where you let the contracting company kind of know where we're at and kind of syncing up and so forth. So it's pretty similar. But like I said, learning it the CMMC way.
Yes, yes, indeed. I like that. Good tips with your exam prep. I know you met with Dr. Blanton. I think y'all had a couple sessions. Just kind of talked about how like she approached the exam prep and what you liked about it. Or
Yeah, that was so enlightening. I think it was just more her personality than
yeah,
anything. I mean, it
she's
just seemed like you were talking to I
electrifying.
yeah, just a lot of experience, the way she broke it down. She just kinda cut through all the fluff and said, "Hey, listen, kinda forget what you've already known or of what you've learned. This is what this is asking for."
Right. Just
And that
translate into plain English. My experience with the CCA exam, definitely you have to put on that assessor cap because I remember a lot of kind of like scenario based questions. They're expecting you to have some experience and apply what you know, not just what you've memorized.
yeah,
So that was something that stood out to me about the CCA exam. Makes sense you're able to pull from your RMF experience,
yeah.
and that really helped you get through it. Yeah.
But, I think because this is new, it's at the point where, we might have some experts in the field.
All
I
right.
feel that just with kind of where we're going with the world situation, defense is going to have to be ramped up and it's going to need a lot of individuals to fill those gaps.
Mhm.
I think that this is a great time. I mean, it's still new, like I said. I feel like you have an opportunity to learn about so many different companies, the way they do things, the different types of technologies that they're running. And it's a great way just to kind of get your feet wet and then decide, hey, where do you want to go from here? You know?
Right. Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. I always tell a lot of people because I'm even trying to get high schoolers and college students like, y'all might want to pay attention. This is a great opportunity because it's almost created a new industry
Yes.
where now there's not a lot of people that have years of CMMC experience. So now you can almost come in at a level playing field and really
Yeah.
accelerate in this career field. So
Yes.
now, Grant, yeah, go ahead.
And that's one of the things I was going to say about your company because I don't see anybody else out there doing anything like this and making it reachable and attainable.
Mhm.
Would seem like, oh man, I've got to have all these clearances or I need to go through all this.
Yeah.
you do this, it's going to take years, but the way that you're kind of breaking into the industry and making it known, just from your post on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and you're seeing what you're doing, it's like, man, you're getting a snapshot and seeing that, you know what, I like this. This is exciting. It's new. It's almost like you're a one-stop shop. You're hitting all the different venues where if you need the training or if you need the mentoring and so forth. And we need something like that right now. It makes it not seem as exclusive.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. That was my experience when I first started with CMMC. Like, man, it seems like really like it's not as open. And I had to feel like I had to navigate it on my own. And
Mhm.
that kind of inspired me to start the CMMC Professionals Network and then ultimately CMMC Co-Pilot and become an approved training provider because I'm really passionate about mentorship and coaching and getting as many people, just helping them fulfill their career goals.
Yeah.
So I just view CMMC as just a really incredible opportunity. So I'm all in on it. Rene, what's next for you? How are you planning on leveraging this CCA? And I'm sure once you submit your lead CCA app, you're gonna get approved quickly. You have the experience. So
Well,
how do you plan on leveraging your CCA?
I'm kind of praying about that right now because I feel like there's a want to take my experience and maybe see how I can inspire somebody else who's helped me along the way, whether it be in training or maybe first get some firsthand experience doing the process, learning all the ins and out, and then kind of readjusting and see, okay, where do I want to go from here? Because I feel like I'm just starting right now. And age-wise, I've been around and I've seen a lot of the various technologies, but I still feel like this is almost brand new, like starting over again.
Yeah, it's exciting. Technology has changed so much. So it's
Yes, especially
yeah.
with AI now, it's getting ridiculous.
Absolutely. Almost like a refresh for those that's been in cybersecurity IT 20 plus years. We
Yeah.
kind of got caught into just doing the things the way it's always been done or just the mundane of it, vitalizing for us.
It is. It's almost like a reset.
Exactly.
AI, I don't know how much it's gonna change that, but I thought it would be good to even learn a little bit more about that as well to see how we could maybe, automate the process a little bit more. I mean, it would still require that interaction, which is one of the things I like, just being able to kinda have that eye to eye, even if it's being on site. I like the idea of that as well because I'm a people person.
Yeah.
So, right now, I'm not sure yet, Derek.
To be determined, but you got options. You're going to have a lot of options. And being so new, a lot of defense contractors still don't even know about CMMC. They're going to have in for a rude awakening once they start seeing more and more of those DoD solicitations with CMMC requirements.
Yes,
It's,
definitely,
it's
definitely.
do you have an area of specialty you want to focus on in CMMC? Because that's another beauty of it, where it's 14 domains in CMMC, and
Yeah,
you can really, on the implementation side, specialize. Even on the assessment side, you can specialize because for the assessment, there has to be three CCAs on that team,
yeah,
including that one lead CCA, and they can divide up the domains they're going to assess based on your expertise. So
yeah,
it gives that flexibility. Then also gives the flexibility where a lot of this work can be completed remotely. On our consulting side, 99% of our clients remote everything we do for them. So that I just also like that flexibility that this career field gives you.
yeah. I'm interested to learn more about, and get more into the GCC High and dealing with just, the cloud and so forth. I feel like that's always gonna be a high demand, and I'd like to specialize in that area there.
That's something I'll close out on as far as anyone on the consulting side or even the assessment side. It is going to pay off to specialize because as someone who employs CCAs, CCPs for contracts, that's the
Mhm.
first thing I want to know. Like, what's your specialty? Because that's going to help me identify opportunities for you
Yeah,
versus being a generalist where it's going to fit in with everybody else in the pool versus you're a specialist. Okay, now you're top of mind for me. I
yeah,
have a GCCI opportunity. Oh, I know Rene. He specializes there. So I do
yes,
think that's a big benefit in doing that instead of
yes,
just being a generalist. That's an option, but
yes,
there
yeah.
is benefit in specialization. Absolutely.
And one of the reasons why is just because of my current role right now. Even though it's DOJ, one of the reasons I took this opportunity was because I knew the clearance that I was going to get and would allow me to get access to that type of technology and so
Mhm.
forth. So I feel like if I could kind of stay in that arena, it would help until something else comes along that I'm more interested in.
That's great. I'm seeing a reoccurring theme. You're a strategic brother. They planted 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. So that's
Yes.
it's paying off. Awesome. Well, before we close out, any last words of advice for the CMC Proof podcast community? And yeah, like I said, you have a lot of people watching this where they're just not hearing about CMC. They're Googling, doing a Google or YouTube search. They're gonna see Rene did it. So closing words of advice for them.
I would just say to do what drives that passion. To me, I'm a lifelong learner. Like I said, at one point way back in the days, I wanted to be a trainer because to me, learning opens up so many opportunities. Don't be scared to try things.
Right.
Even if it seems a little difficult at first, just kind of sit back, break it down to a molecular level as small as possible so you can kind of chew on it. And then when you understand it, keep going and pushing the envelope. Don't get comfortable and just get stagnant. And right now it's an exciting time. So,
Uh,
sky's the limit right now.
Great closing words. And next certification, CMMC instructor. We're always looking for good instructors. So
Yes.
that,
Yes. We can
that's an
encourage
option.
others.
Cool. All right, Rene. Appreciate your time today, and really happy to help get the word out about CMMC. So appreciate you helping us do that.
Well, Derrich, man, I'm looking forward to meeting with you, man. I mean, just your approach, it's groundbreaking, man, just what you're doing. So I appreciate just even this conversation, just the fact that you're looping me in, and just want to say thank you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And like your closing remarks, just doing what drives you, what you really are passionate about. And I think I finally found that area for me where I'm like, okay, this is it.
Well, I could tell. I could tell.
That's the key. Well, all right, Renee. Well, I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm looking forward for us meeting in the near future.
All right. Thanks
All right.
again, Derek.
Bye.
Have a good one, man.